Okay, mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and the holidays are upon us. Now is a time where we're getting all of the video games that we definitely want for Christmas, and there's a lot of attention that's usually put on the Nintendo Switch. But it made me think about the PS4, which I find myself playing more than the Switch these days. And I started to think about all those amazing PS4 games that you can't play on the Nintendo Switch. And PS4 games, especially the good ones, I think are a little bit easier to find at GameStop just because they're not as in high of a demand as the Nintendo Switch. So without wasting any time, I just want to go through and show you about 11 games on the PlayStation 4 that you cannot play on the Switch that I think you should definitely look into, especially if you currently own a PS4. Let's not waste any time. You already see the first game, and that's Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush Remastered on the PlayStation 4 is basically a remake of a PS Vita game. Main character is a girl who is suffering from amnesia. She's trying to make her way back to what she's known. She's guided by this cat that has powers, and somehow they're linked. I only got through the introductory portion of this game where I kind of just played through the levels that kind of show you how to move the main character. And it's pretty interesting because you manipulate gravity to move from platform to platform, and you do a lot of that in the beginning of the game. When you play this game on the PS Vita, it does utilize the Vita's touchpad functionality, which you have on the back of the Vita, which is pretty cool. But if you want that big screen action to be able to view all of that beautiful cel-shaded glory, then you can definitely check it out here on the PlayStation 4. Gravity Rush Remastered, an awesome game that you cannot play on the Nintendo Switch. And then speaking of Gravity Rush, here you've got Gravity Rush 2. Now this, I don't think got a release on the Vita at all, and I have not seen this on the PlayStation 5. So this may be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, Gravity Rush 2. A really cool game. Again, more of that cel-shaded beauty, right? Just take a look there. It follows the same story. I think she's looking in part 1, she's looking for someone, and I think in part 2 she found them. If you know more of the details on this one, let me know down in the comments. I play these games just to really view like the graphics, really. I just think they're really sick. But if you know more about the story, let me know down in the comments. Gravity Rush 2, another one that you cannot play on the Switch. Here's another one you can't play on the Switch, and this is a classic. I've had this on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3, but I wound up selling both of those copies and just kept the PS4 version just because it's the cleanest version, best graphics, runs the best out of all the copies that I had. But in a nutshell, Odin Spere is a 2D side-scrolling, hand-drawn hack and slash combos game, and that kind of just sums up everything I'm about in really one sentence. There's a lot to be said about Odin Sphere. It is a classic. I mean, when a game travels through about 3 generations of PlayStation consoles, that means that this game is doing something right. And this is an action-packed beauty. I would definitely check out Odin Sphere. And this is another one that you cannot play on the Switch. Here goes another one kind of in that vein, Deception Nightmare Princess. Now, I have Kagero on the PlayStation 1, and I think that's part 2 in the overall Deception series. I've never really been too much into these games. I'm not all, I'm not super into like the whole devil, demon type of stuff. I mean, they're cool, and I've got plenty of games that center around that, but Deception just wasn't one that really caught my eye. But I actually happened to be in a GameStop one day, and I saw this on the shelf, and it was like $13.99 or $14.99, and I knew it was different because I don't typically see this game when I'm in a GameStop, so I picked it up. And this one actually wound up having a little bit of value to it. I think it's like 40 or 50 bucks is what Deception goes for. From what I understand, this is kind of like an action-adventure puzzle game where you kind of set traps for the enemy, and you try to link those traps to perform combos, and you have to move through each level in this like arena-style puzzle fighting game. Sounds cool. Sounds like another spin on an action RPG. But it's one that I haven't had a chance to dive into. But I know that you can't, at least I don't think you can play this on the Nintendo Switch. Let me know down in the comments. I haven't seen this one on there. Next up, Stray. Oh man, Stray. Pretty cool game. You play as this cat making his way through the city. This is one of those calm, relaxed games. I think I mentioned this game on my channel before, and someone commented that I should play this game once everything settles down in the house, just, get a cup of tea and just kind of relax and play this game. This is another cool one that you can't play on the Switch. Graphics are great, and I believe this game won a few awards. It's like a steampunk, no, not a steampunk, rather a cyberpunk cat game. Very interesting, but one that you will not be able to find on the Nintendo Switch. Here's one that I've talked about as well, Rez. Rez, I originally played Rez on the PlayStation 2. I don't know if it was ever released on the PlayStation 3, but when I saw that it was available on the PS4, I said, oh yeah, I gotta get that. Rez is a very interesting, like, first-person space shooter game, where you play as like a piece of software, I think. And as you go through the game, you have to shoot down what looks like, you know, enemy spaceships, but I think they're like pieces of software, and you keep downloading more software until you start to develop this like humanoid form, and then obviously you get stronger. And I think you're going through this like cybernetic world, just taking down computer programs. I could be wrong. I don't know what the full premise is, but that's what it looks like when you play the game. I've never really read the story behind Rez. I've just played it. And it is a very beautiful game. And when I saw that this had the virtual reality capabilities, oh man, I definitely had to get it. The thing that I like about this game is that when you play through the levels, there's like a beat, there's like a beat for each level. And every time you shoot your weapon, it kind of coincides with the beat. So it's kind of like a rhythm shooting game. Very, very interesting. If you've never played Rez, I definitely check it out, because this is one that you just can't get on the Switch. And it's definitely worth it, especially when you pop on that VR headset. I think this one is a ton of fun. Here's another one you can't get on the Switch, Battle Garega for the PS4. Now, this is a shoot 'em up that was originally released on the Sega Saturn. And this is an amazing shoot 'em up. This is a classic. This is one of the more classic shoot 'em up games. Top-down shooter. Thing I like the most about Battle Garega is the music, I think. When I first started playing it, I really just jammed out to the music on this game. And I never really used to understand that. When I would watch video game reviews, when people would be like, man, I love the music. Music can make a difference, especially when it's good. And especially when you're playing games like shoot 'em ups or like action games, because it kind of helps get the adrenaline going and set the tone. So Battle Garega is definitely one I would check out. You can probably download this on an eShop on the Switch maybe, but physically, if you want a physical copy, I think you can only get this on the PS4. Then here's another one, sticking in the vein of action and shoot 'em ups, right? Assault Suit Lanos. This is another game that was originally released on the Sega Saturn. And like Battle Garega, this was released overseas, right? So I don't think we got US releases for Assault Suit Lanos and Battle Garega, but this plays like Mech Warriors or any one of those mech games that you see. The cool part about this is this is kind of like a side scroller, and when this originally came out, this is a pretty good looking 2D side scroller. The pixel artwork on Assault Suit Lanos, the original one for the Sega Saturn, is a very good looking game. It looks like they kind of beefed up the graphics with this whole like 2.5D style there. So this is a really cool remake on a very good kind of run and gun shooter style game. But Assault Suit Lanos, if you're into action, this is one I would check out. This is one that you cannot get on the Nintendo Switch. All right, next up, this is one that y'all probably know about because this was released on the PlayStation 3, but that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Manhattan. I think this has also got a release on the Xbox One, if I'm not mistaken. But I've never seen this on the Switch, and this is a very fun game. I don't think this game got a ton of good reviews, rather. But I've played this game, and what I like the most about this game just are all the things you can do with the turtles, like how you can run on the walls. You get like this really cool parachute. You kind of get to traverse the landscape, almost like Spider-Man, just maybe not as fluid as Spider-Man, but I do like the fact that I do like the fact that you can kind of have this open, free roaming activity there in this game. And then also another cool thing is that, you and the turtles can team up and do combo attacks together, special attacks together. I think it does get a little bit repetitive in terms of being a hack and slash, but this is a really cool one. And one that you cannot play on the Switch. I definitely recommend checking out Ninja Turtles if you're into like hacking and slashing. And then this has that whole cel-shaded art style that I really like too. It's just a timeless way of making video games that no matter how far out in the future we go, this is still going to look beautiful. A lot like 2D sprite work. All right, next up, another one that I've talked about in the past, and that is Fist of the North Star. Lost Paradise. So this is another one that you cannot find on the Nintendo Switch. This is a really cool 3D beat 'em up game where you just go through learning different attacks different fighting stances, you know, doing combos. And this is just one of those games where, like, if you're into beat 'em ups, like if you come from the Final Fight era, or and then you transitioned over to the PS2 and you played games like Final Fight Streetwise or God Hand, if you're into games like that, especially God Hand, you're definitely going to be into Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, because it does kind of have that feel. And it is a very cool 3D beat 'em up for sure. And this is an exclusive to the PS4, so you ain't getting this anywhere else. If you're looking for some fast-paced adrenaline beat 'em up action, you're going to need a PS4 for this one, because you can't get it on the Switch. All right, and last but not least, and this is a game that I am currently playing, and that is the Ghost of Tsushima. Now, this is probably the most beautiful game I've ever played in terms of 3D games, right? Probably not 2D games, but Ghost of Tsushima is just a very beautifully done game. I love the fact that as you play the game, time continues to move on. So like as you're moving through the landscape, the sun sets, the sun rises, it's raining one day, it's sunny one day. It almost seems like the seasons change as well, you know, that with the changing of the colors of the leaves. And the landscape is just really beautiful in Ghost of Tsushima. I just find myself wandering around in this game just to see how detailed the graphics can actually be. But aside from that, the story is really cool. You're a samurai. I think his uncle's the emperor. The emperor was kidnapped by enemy forces, and he's trying to save his uncle. While he's on the journey, he runs into a lady who's trying to save her brother, who I think is a blacksmith. And just a very, very interesting story. You know, throughout the game, he has flashbacks to his childhood, and they use those opportunities to kind of teach you different moves throughout the game. And, you know, Ghost of Tsushima, like I said, this is, if you're looking for a game to really dive into and get lost in, this is definitely one of those games. And again, this is one that you can only get on the PlayStation 4. And that does it for me. Let me know what other games on the PlayStation 4 are out there that you can only play on the PS4 that are just killer. I've been working on my PS4 collection just because things have slowed down for me and the Switch. I haven't really seen a lot of Switch games being released or upcoming that I'm really into. So I've been kind of pivoting to the PS4. Also because the PS4 is cheaper. Right now you can find so many top-notch PS4 games still at GameStop, complete in box. And because, you know, the PS5 is becoming, you know, more commercially accepted and there's more of them out there, more people are buying PS5 games, the PS4 is being phased out. And, you know, this is the best time to buy and build for any collection. So I may be coming out with a PS4 collector's buying guide, or maybe how to start a PS4 collection real soon. Because I think, you know, definitely some good opportunity here. But let me know what games I missed on this list, and thanks for stopping by. I'm the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.